Welcome back to Stingy's Traeger Tabletop. This is Stingy, and we're back with another ammo test. This time is with the Walther P22 and the Federal Bulk 550 round value pack. This stuff is 36 grains, and according to the box, and again I'm not sure what length barrel these are tested with, but according to the box is 1260 feet per second. Of course, it's going to be a lot slower coming out of a 3.5 inch barrel out of the Walther P22. Again, just a reminder how we normally do these tests is that what we do is we go through about 1,000 rounds of any particular ammo, and in between throughout the 1,000 rounds, we do not clean these. So what we do is we start with as close to factory clean as possible, and then we proceed to fire 1,000 rounds without cleaning to see how well the firearm holds up with the particular ammo in both reliability, cleanliness, and of course accuracy. Now, we had to make a little bit of a change this time around with the Federal 550, and part of the reason for that is because this is early 2013, and with recent events, ammo is pretty much next to impossible to find, and it took us quite a while to even find an extra box of this. So what we ended up decided to do was we actually ran out at pretty much about 500 rounds each firearm. Trigger fired about 500 rounds for each one of his 22s, and actually I did not reach the 500 round mark, and you'll see in a minute why. There's a little bit of a history with my Walther P22 and Federal 550 value pack. But either way, ammo, if anyone have gone to Walmart recently, will know exactly what I'm talking about. Good luck finding a bulk box of anything, and 22s is one of them. So at the time when we purchased these boxes from Walmart, they were running about $19.97 a box, which is actually pretty good value-wise. What it comes down to is roughly about 3.6 cents or a little bit more per round. So that makes it very cost-effective for the round. Now, the first 10 rounds, we always do a first 10 round accuracy, and you can see right here with the Walther P22, if you remember what I got out of the CCI Blazer, I had a much better group with the CCI Blazer than I do with the Federal Bulk Pack. So you can already see that the Walther P22 and the Federal is not entirely agreeable with each other. Now, normally we will also have a last 10 round, but again, during the testing, we actually ran out of ammo, so we kind of just had to cut it short. So we just said, okay, wherever we were at the time, that's pretty much where we stopped. And honestly, after the CCI test and we looked at accuracy at the first 10 rounds and the last 10 round, the variance was so low that it probably wouldn't have made that much of a difference in this case either. Now, I said Trigger stopped his testing right about 500 rounds. I had to stop mine at 333, and we used 333 because at that point this had so many failures with this particular ammo that we just said, okay, well, one, ammo is costly at this point, and two, we can't find any more Federal, so let's just stop it at 333, and then we're just going to extrapolate it based on that, and say multiply the number of failures by roughly about 3, and kind of like extrapolate from that how many it would have had if we hit 1,000 rounds with it. So basically, let's see, how many failures do we have? We had roughly, well, in total, in the number of failures out of the 333 rounds, we had 52 failures. And out of those 52 failures, 9 were duds, 25 were failure to feeds, 15 were failure to eject, and 3 were stovepipes. So quite a bit of issues with the Federal Bolt Pack and the Walther P22, at least mine. And again, I want to make a point that mine, who knows, I could have dicked it up by some of the customizations that I have done to this internally. But also to that note, when I first got it, it actually had the same problems with Federal Bolt Pack anyway. So I don't know, maybe it's just my particular gun, it just doesn't like Federal. But also, to give you an idea of maybe it was also something going on with the Federal ammo, not just the firearm, I'll read off some of the numbers at which, you know, we had failures at. I mean, right off the bat at round 11 we had failure, but then it goes roughly about 3 magazines without any issues, and then at round 40 again failure, and then it jumps to 67, and then next thing you know is 81, 82, 91, 92, 97, 102, 107, you know, and it just keeps going, you know, pretty much every other mag, or, you know, every 3 or 4 rounds I would experience some type of failure or another. But to that same note, you know, we also hit, you know, areas where let's say we hit 112, but then again we go through another 3 magazine, no issues, until we hit 145. So what does that tell us? Well, maybe some inconsistency in the load. Sometimes there were, you know, a few rounds that were hotter and it made the gun function a little bit better, or, you know, sometimes also there just weren't any primers. We had 9 duds, and all those, well, actually 8 out of those 9 duds we were actually able to take them back out, turn them so that the rim was facing in another direction, and then fire it again, and they would fire. So the consistency of the primer wasn't there either, so that contributed to a lot of the failures. Now also, that also tell me that there could be also something going on with the striking or the firing pin on the Walther P22, because I also noticed that Trigger's firearm, none of his had the same, you know, nowhere near as many failures as mine had. And I've recently been looking at the firing pin on these, and I noticed that, you know, compared to the Rugers, and actually the 2 Rugers that Trigger have, the firing pin on here is, you know, much thinner, and maybe I'm just getting more light primer strikes than he is, and it's just not able to ignite that primer inside the rim like the Rugers, you know, are able to. So that is also a possible contributor to all the issues that I had with this particular firearm with Federal. Now, in terms of cleanliness, this is kind of a interesting issue with Federal. In the past, I've always thought Federal was actually pretty dirty, and when I first purchased this, the 2 bulk packs that I purchased and subsequent bulk packs that I've purchased, you know, during that time, the Federal did turn out to be pretty dirty, and what happened was that you would end up with actual particulates that you can see. And let me just zoom in real quick. Focus. Okay. In the past, what I've noticed with Federal was that after firing, if you look in the chamber or you look in the action area, you would actually literally see grain-like particulates, almost like sand, something very gritty in there. And I'm actually pretty surprised to see that. I'm not sure if they have reformulated their ammo recently with a different charge or a different powder, but now all I really get is just soot. Nothing, no major, gritty or, clumps of particulates, and definitely no waxy particulates like what I got out of the CCI Blazer either. But nevertheless, despite the fact that it seemed to be a lot cleaner than the Federal that I was used to when I first purchased this back about a couple of years ago, it seems like the performance with this particular ammo has not changed, even with the additional modifications that I've done with this Walther internally to try to make it a little bit more reliable with bulk ammo. So what can we get out of this? Well, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just my particular Walther P22, because I've checked out plenty of videos online where other people who have Walther P22s, some that were older than mine. Mine is 2010 make, and some that are a little bit newer, like the Walther P22Q, and they don't seem to have as many issues right out of the box as I did. So maybe it's just my particular Walther P22, and again, like I said, it could be something to do with that firing pin, and that's something I'm going to look into. But either way, for now, for my usage, I definitely will not be using the Federal ball pack in the foreseeable future with the Walther P22. Now, this stuff is still reliable. I won't say it's entirely unreliable. It's still very reliable with my other 22 firearms, especially the Ruger 1022. And if you watch any of Trigger's reviews on it for his bulk test, you'll see that they were equally reliable for his, I believe he has a 2245 and the SR22. So again, these are high value rounds. They are, very cost effective for both plinking and, of course, small game hunting as well. But I won't be doing too much of small game hunting or plinking with the Federal out of my Walther P22 with the number of failures that I'm experiencing. Honestly, at a certain point, I kind of wanted to cut it short at 200, but Trigger kind of said, let's push it at least to 333 to get a little, try to get more data out of it before we call it quits, and that's pretty much where we ended it. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for more fun gun project and review videos. And as always, we're just a couple of city slickers trying to work things out as we go.